No. Okay, so the previous week we went over the nullifiers of wudu, those things that break the wudu. And so just to quickly recap what we covered the previous week. So we have that which exits from the front and back passage. This nullifies the wudu. وَيَنْقُضُ وِلَادَ مِنْ غَيْرِ رُؤْيَةِ دَمٍ, giving birth without seeing blood. This nullifies the wudu as well due to wetness and dampness. The flowing of any kind of impurity such as blood or pus from anywhere else other than the two passages, this also nullifies the wudu. Vomiting, a mouthful of food, water, blood clots, bile, all of these things nullify the wudu. But the condition is that it has to be a mouthful. It has to be a mouthful. And they've given the definition of what constitutes a mouthful, and that's that the mouth cannot be shut when a person is vomiting except with difficulty. Right? So this is the most correct view. Also, if a person vomits a few times and the cause is the same for each time, then these occurrences will be considered as one occurrence, so the wudu would be broken. Also, if a person is bleeding inside the mouth and when a person spits, the saliva is overwhelmed with blood, or the blood is even with the saliva, then that also would break the wudu. To sleep in a way that a person's back, right, the backside of a person is not firmly set on the ground, that also nullifies the wudu. Also, the elevation of one's backside from the floor while one is sleeping and before one becomes aware, this also nullifies the wudu, and then if that person doesn't fall over. Also, losing consciousness, fainting, temporary insanity, drunkenness, all of these things nullify the wudu. Laughing out loud in prayer, this nullifies the wudu as well. Moving on, those things that don't nullify the wudu. So the appearance of blood, right, that does not flow from its injury. Right? So blood comes onto a wound, but it doesn't flow to another part of the body. So if, for example, if a person is bleeding in one place, let's say if a person is bleeding on the hand, but it stays there, it doesn't flow, the wudu is intact, it's not broken. Right? As long as it doesn't flow, the wudu is not broken. And also, it's mentioned over here that if a piece of flesh, وَسُقُوطُ لَحْمٍ مِنْ غَيْرِ سَيْلَانِ دَمٍ كَالْعِرْقِ الْمَدَنِ الَّذِي يُقَالُ لَهُ رِشْتَةٌ. So if there's a piece of flesh, like a scab, okay, a scab, it separates from the body, and blood, right, there's no flowing of blood, that too doesn't break the wudu. So if a person has like a scab, right, or a piece of flesh like a skin tag, and it separates from the body, it doesn't break the wudu, provided that there's no blood and it doesn't flow. Okay. An example is, and the example they've given over here is the Medina blood vessel. The Medina blood vessel was a sickness that was common to the people of Medina. Okay, it was a sickness that was common to the people of Medina. So it's like a polyp. It's like a polyp, right? It's external. It is an external polyp. Let's say skin tag, something along those lines, right? So if it falls off, there's no blood, it doesn't break the wudu. Pimple, blisters on the skin, if they fall off and there's no blood, it doesn't break the wudu. Okay. وَخُرُوجُ دُودَةٍ مِنْ جَرْحٍ وَأُذُنٍ وَأَنْفٍ. If a worm exits from a wound, or exits from the ear or nose, it doesn't break the wudu. If a worm exits from a wound, or the ear or nose, it will not nullify the wudu. وَمَسُّ ذَكَرٍ. Also, touching one's genitalia, this does not break the wudu in the Hanafi school. According to the other schools, it does break the wudu. According to the Hanafi school, touching of the genitalia does not break the wudu. وَمَسُّ امْرَأَةٍ. Also touching a woman, according to the Hanafi school, does not break the wudu. This is not the case with other schools of thought. وَقَيْءٌ لَا يَمْلَأُ الْفَمْ Vomiting less than a mouthful doesn't break the wudu. Right? It doesn't invalidate the wudu. وَقَيْءُ بَلْغَمٍ وَلَوْ كَثِيرًا Vomiting phlegm, saliva. Right? This doesn't break the wudu, even if it is more than a mouthful, because it's saliva. Saliva is pure. Phlegm is pure. Doesn't break the wudu. Okay. وَتَمَايُلْ نَائِمٍ وَاحْتُمِلَ زَوَالُ مَقَدَتُهُ To sway, to like kind of, sway, while sleeping, where there is a possibility of falling, that doesn't break the wudu. So if a person is just like swaying, and there's a possibility of falling, even that does not break the wudu. Okay? So when a sleeping person, meaning that if a person is sitting, right, with the backside on the ground, then just because a person is swaying, that doesn't break the wudu. As long as the backside is firmly on the ground, it will not break the wudu. Okay. وَنَوْمٌ مُتَمَكِّنْ وَلَوْ مُسْتَنِدًا ونوم لم تتمكن فيه المقعد من الأرض وارتفاع مقعد النام قبل انتباه وإن لم يسقط. Yes. ونوم متمكن ولو مستندا إلى شيء لو أزيل سقط على الظاهر فيهما. Okay. So sleeping in a firm manner is not something that breaks the wudu, even if one is leaning on support. So let's say a person is on the airplane and you have your seat inclined, and a person is sitting, closes the eyes. That's not going to break the wudu. That will not break the wudu. Even if the seat, hypothetical situation, even if the seat were to move away and the person falls, this will not break the wudu. It will not nullify the wudu. It's better to do wudu, but it will not nullify the wudu. Right? And this is the opinion within the Hanafi school. This is the Hanafi opinion. Right? This is the Hanafi opinion. But again, it's always better to do wudu in that kind of situation. وَنَوْمُ مُصَلٍّ وَلَوْ رَاكِيًا أَوْ سَاجِدًا عَلَى جِهَةِ السُنَّةِ وَاللَّهُ الْمُوَفَّقُ. And the musallin, the sleeping in prayer, that doesn't break the wudu. So if a person sleeps while doing ruku, sleeps while doing sujood, right? Provided the person maintains the posture according to the sunnah, ruku and sujood, this will not break the wudu. Right? So all of these things, these are 10 instances, or these are 10 rulings over here that do not break the wudu. We'll stop over here.
What about insect or mosquito biting you?
This will not break the wudu. Yeah. Insect or mosquito biting and drawing blood, this will not break the wudu unless the blood flows. Yes.
After the bite and the mosquito go and the blood flow and then
yes, then that will break the wudu. But if there's no appearance of any blood and the blood doesn't flow, or even if the blood comes out but doesn't flow, it's very less, it will not break the wudu. The condition is flowing.
Flow means is move positions? Or
yes, move position. Move position, yeah. Because sometimes a person, what happens is a person gets hurt and the blood just stays right on the surface. Yeah. That doesn't break the wudu. The condition is it has to flow.
And for the sleeping, is it because you lost your mind or because of sleeping? Or you mentioned last week about it because you lost the concept.
Yes. Yeah. So this is when a person is like completely sleeping on his side.
Yeah, but sometimes you sit down, you support. Sometimes you.
Yeah. So at that time.
Well.
Yeah. So if a person is, for example, leaning like this, but his backside is on the ground, there's no possibility of the wudu breaking at that time.
Even though his mind is.
Even if his mind is, completely.
Sleeping and snoring.
Yeah, he's unaware or not even he's like unconscious. Yeah. So if he doesn't have the capacity, that will not break the wudu. It's better to do wudu in that situation. It's always better. But this type of ruling would help a person when traveling on an airplane. Because sometimes on an airplane, it's difficult to do wudu
Yeah.
because the bathrooms are small.
Yeah.
So when you're in your seat and you're just sitting over there,
Yeah.
the seats are so small.
Yeah.
So even if you're leaning, it's not going to break the wudu. Even if even if your eyes close and you went to sleep, you will not break your wudu because you still have like.
Unless and then you lost the.
Yeah, then if you like move to the side or something, then yes, then of course that will break the wudu.
Jazakallah khairan, Shaykh. Have an out of topic question
Yes.
regarding Qurbani.
Yes.
Are you allowed to cut your hair?
Yes.
Even
Yes.
even if you do the
Even if you do the
slaughtering?
qurbani, yeah. Because if a person, for example, is married, is it permissible for him to have intimacy?
Yes.
Then this is less than that. So it would be permissible. And again, this is according to the Hanafi school. According to other schools, I think it might be wajib, according to them, not to cut their
Okay, so there's
not to
like
cut their hair and
different
their
of thought there.
yeah.
What's the majority on that? Do you know?
The majority, I mean, it all depends on evidence. See, every school has its own legal theories. And these legal theories is what they follow. They follow their legal theories. They follow the laws that they have drawn from, Quran and Sunnah. So everyone has their own set of legal theories. So the Hanafis, for example, they will give priority to Quran, Sunnah, Qiyas, analogy, which is based on Quran and Sunnah, and then consensus of the scholars. Right? The Shafis, they will give preference to Quran, Sunnah, but when it comes to Sunnah, there is a little bit of detail there. The Shafis, they give priority. They argued for the primacy of Hadith Marfu, whereas the Hanafis, they don't always take the Hadith Marfu.
I don't understand that.
So the Hadith Marfu is that Hadith which has been narrated by. It's an authentic Hadith. It's authentic Hadith, but it's narrated by 1, 2, 3 people, right? So it's khabar wahid, right?
So
it's a singular. It's a single report, right? It's a single report, but it's authentic. So the Shafis, they give priority to this narration over, let's say, something else, right? Whereas the Hanafis, they will argue that no, we're going to give priority based on other factors. So according to the Hanafi school, they will, their factors would be, what the Tabi'een did, even if it may be contrary to that single report.
Like if it even contradicts that report?
Yes.
I see, okay.
So
It's
all based on legal
theory.
theory.
Would be that he can do it, right?
What?
He can cut his hair.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're asking me, yes.
It's not the gray area, you would say, right?
No.
Okay.
It's perfectly fine.
Okay. Jazakallah khairan.
What about the meat? The distribution of the meat on the Hanafi?
The distribution of the meat, you can use the entire amount for yourself.